Here's some great trail camera advice from Beau Martonik on how he manages 50 trail cameras and how he organizes the data in order to help fill tags down the road, the importance of paying attention to does on trail camera, and why you should run cameras on video mode and why you need to watch the very end. Hope you guys enjoy this. Here we go.
You know what? A lot of people are postseason scouting, but in addition to that, they're likely pulling cameras and taking those precious SD cards, like the one you talked about where it's been on a mock scrape or a community scrape all year.
Yeah, with all the skunks.
So you get a pile of SD cards. Now what?
Yeah, okay. That's a great question. So so what I always do is like when I'll go in, like, so a lot of these cameras I'll check throughout the year, but I tend, SD cards are so big now that I just put them back in. Like I'll look at them on my phone. I'll transfer any big buck pictures to my phone, you know, to share with my friends and you know, that kind of deal. And then I'll just put the SD card back in, and then I pull them all at the end of the year. And then I have this stack of SD cards, and it takes a long time to go through those. Now that I run most of my cameras on video mode, holy cow! And I've extended the video to, I like to do about 20 seconds is a pretty good. Longer than that I'd love, but it takes too long and it eats through so much SD card space that I'd rather not do that. But the 20 seconds seems to be a good middle ground for me. But anyways, I put it up on my computer and I transfer all the stuff over, everything, and right away I categorize it in folders. So I have folders going back to 2010 on my computer of spots. So I'll have it by year, and then I break it down by the bigger area. So X state forest or whatever. And then underneath that, I'll have, you know, even more of a specific area, and then the specific spot. And this is when you start running a lot of cameras, it's hard to come up with names for side hill, community scrape.
That's exactly. I'm like Red Oak near fence.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at like, what is
West
that?
side. I think I'll look at them like, I'm not sure where
number
this is
three.
at.
What's number three?
So I'm looking for a better way how to do that specific spot. The more cameras I start to run, but anyways, I do that, and then within there, I have the specific dates of the card pulls and have that in there to be able to look at. And I go through it and I delete anything that's not pertinent, but I make sure I watch those videos from beginning to end. I can't tell you. I'd say one piece of advice is like, don't just look at it on your phone quickly or like scroll through the thumbnails because you miss so much. Like the one deer that I was hunting this year that ended up getting killed, there was on November 12th, I almost, went against my own rule and was just like, okay, I was going through so many cards. I was like, getting tired at that point. I'm like, I watched it, and it was like the first 6 seconds of the video, there's nothing there. And all of a sudden, boom, he walks out in it. And I don't know if like based off of, it was using the lift too. So I'm not sure how you guys' cameras, if he detected them off before he even walked in or maybe a doe went through first. And
that's probably most likely. Yeah.
And he just comes in. I'm just like, holy cow. Like I almost deleted this video. So it's important to do that, but I don't always just keep buck pictures. Depending on the time of year, I'll keep doe pictures just as much as bucks, because that, when I go back and look at that data, it's like, okay, there's does in this area around these dates. That's important to know, especially when you're focusing around the rut time period.
That was actually going to be my question. What time frame is that you're keeping pictures like that?
I'll start keeping doe pictures middle of October, say like the 13th on. Basically. So that helps with like, okay, I know there's does in that area as bucks are going to start to check in a couple weeks. And that's why I keep that data. Now I'm not keeping every doe picture, but I'll keep, one or two from specific dates, just knowing there's does there.
Right. Just kind of keep your memory in that. That's when it's getting hot.
Yep. So, because doe groups are in areas that I've hunted for a while, I pay attention to specific doe groups a lot and learning when they come into heat. Like there's a few spots that I know these doe groups. There's one that right around October 30th every year, Big Mama, she comes in and the bucks like to check her out around that time.
Yeah, and if you know where that bedding area is, I guess that's the doe bedding in specific in relation to that camera is the real important part.
Yes, correct. Yep. And I've learned that just from walking and bumping them multiple times, and that's where I've learned, not on purpose, it just happened that way, but it gave me that intel that I needed to know, like, okay, this is where does like to hang out at.
Yeah, I think that's something that most people overlook of not paying attention to doe pictures. People are just big buck.
Yeah,
and they have the pile of big buck pictures, but what's correlating? Why are they there?
Yeah, no, and then I have a separate spreadsheet, and now I have a separate spreadsheet where I take this data and then I put it into that spreadsheet based off of weather, based off of wind, based off of conditions, and I have like a general notes thing that has like, okay, seem to be coming from this direction. It was a major cold front, then I have like my own assumptions, like maybe he was coming from this clear cut,
Yeah.
or he was coming from these oak trees, and I have that in there. But that is an overwhelming process, and like to go through that. So that's where I specifically look at a few bucks, and I only
Target.
go that detailed on the data for only a few bucks, because otherwise it'd be a full-time job just trying to catalog all that stuff.